Hello everyone, Kathy here. Welcome to another installment of Deck Tech here on Void and Moon. This week we have a request from Felix Sonkia from Anchorage, Alaska, and he wants us to do a Nameless Girl deck. Nameless Girl. So this week I took a list that one of our players at our local store has been working on for Nameless Girl and made a couple changes and got the deck that we're working with today. And if you have any other ideas, feel free to comment below. To start off with our resonators for the deck, playing Gretel. Gretel's very popular right now. She works the best when your stone deck is mostly green cards. When she comes into play, you get to look at the top card of your stone deck, and if it is a green stone, you get to put it into play for free. As you will see as we go through the deck, this particular build, having a couple extra stones early is very beneficial. And you'll also notice that a lot of the control type decks are playing Gretel right now. She works really well with Absolute Cake Zone, which is a very important control card. It counters any normal spell. In this particular deck, we're playing a lot of special magic stones, which renders the deck kind of susceptible to cards like Split Heaven and Earth. So Absolute Cake Zone is important so that we don't die from a bunch of Split Heaven and Earths. And having Gretel, you get the extra card draw off of Absolute Cake Zone. And that extra card draw can actually work very well with our next resonator, Sinbad, the Wind Rider Merchant. That's a tongue twister. We're playing 4 Sinbads. Sinbad is kind of the glue that holds the entire deck together. You'll see more. I'll keep referring back to this card as we go through the rest of the deck. He's got a couple different abilities on here that he's used for. The first is that your Addition Resonator cards gain Quick Cast, which means you can cast them at instant speed, and we are playing quite a few Addition Resonators to abuse that. Also, if you would draw a card in a phase other than your draw phase, you may skip drawing it instead. And then when you skip drawing, you can choose a couple of different things. You can deal 300 damage to a Resonator, give a Resonator plus 400, or destroy another addition. So he has a lot of versatility, and all of his versatility works with card draw. So you'll see a lot of the cards in this deck center around card draw, Gretel being the first. Another card that centers around card draw to abuse Sinbad is Cheshire Cat. We're only playing 3 Cheshire Cats. It's a very good card. It's not super duper duper good. Since we're playing so many Addition Resonators, she can't be targeted by any of them, which is kind of the first reason for only playing 3 and not going to 4. But you can replace, she comes into play and she draws 2 cards. You can replace both of those with Sinbad and get double triggers. So she's very awesome. And then we also have, moving on to Resonators, but these ones don't have as much to do with card draw. We played 3 Gardea. And the reason Gardea is in the deck mostly is for his search for a magic stone. When he comes into play, you search your magic stone deck and put the magic stone of your choice on top. And as most Nameless Girl decks should, we're playing 1 Mooge Dart here. And Mooge Dart, I'll get into a little bit more when I go talk about the actual ruler. But he's in there mostly to search for the Mooge Dart. Something else that you will notice later on when I go through the stone deck is, of all of the stones, Mooge Dart is the only land that does not trigger off of Gretel. So Gardea gets that out of the way, and then you're guaranteed to hit on all of your Gretel flips from then on out. And then the final Resonator we're playing is Athos, 3 Musketeers. Athos, when he comes into play, you get to search your deck for an Addition Resonator. It's pretty much why he's in the deck. He's also an 800, which is really, really big. So now let's get into our Addition Resonators, which is really the core that works with Sinbad the best. So far, we've only seen card draw off of Cheshire Cat and Gretel, and 2 of the Addition Resonators that we are playing are awesome for card draw. The first, we're playing 3 Wind Daggers. When Wind Dagger comes into play, you draw a card. So you can choose to draw the card, or if you have Sinbad in play, you can replace that draw and choose one of his other 3 modes instead of card draw. It also has pay a green, banish this card, deals 300 damage to another target Resonator. So it also has some good spot removal for your opponent's creatures. I'm playing 3 of those. And I'm also playing, this is my favorite one in the entire deck, is Witch's Dagger. Witch's Dagger works very well with Gretel, and here's why. You can use her to destroy, you can tap 4 to destroy another target Resonator, but what we're actually using it more for is the tap, activate, you banish this creature and you banish the Witch's Dagger. It says tap banish this resonator, draw 3 cards. You can replace 1, 2, or 3 of the card draw effects if you have Sinbad in play. So you can like draw 1, deal 300 damage, pump a guy, or draw 2, deal 300 damage. You can kind of mix it up however you like. And the nice thing about using it with Gretel is when she goes to the graveyard, she is a human, so she allows you to flip your ruler for free. That is how Nameless Girl works. If a human is put into your graveyard from the field this turn, you may pay 0 for the J activate ability. So Gretel, along with Witch's Dagger, it has great synergy with Sinbad, but it also has amazing synergy with the ruler you're playing. So you see how all of these mesh together very, very well. Looks like they created these cards to go together. So we're playing 3 Witch's Daggers. I like it so much. Maybe we'll put it up to 4. And then finally, we're playing one of Addition Resonator, the Crucifix. This is just, it's searchable with Athos, so having 1 is okay because you can go search it out if you need to. Gives a vampire -1,000, -1,000. Or more importantly, it gives one of your creatures protection from spells and abilities your opponent controls, and it can't be attacked. So it's kind of good late game if you're trying to go into the kill, or if you want to protect your Sinbad that's getting you a lot of bonuses, things like that. Like I said, it's more of a one of, and you can just kind of use it as needed. Search for it out with Athos. Alright, moving on to our spells. Playing 4 different spells in the deck, and this will kind of give you, 5 different spells. This is kind of where the control part of this deck comes in. This deck isn't bona fide control, but there's definitely board control, I guess you would say, themes to the deck. We are playing a lot more creatures than, resonators than I guess a control deck normally would. But we are playing 4 Thunders, and it's pretty straightforward. Thunder is best red card in the game, I think. If you're playing red, you're playing Thunder. We're playing 2 Purifying Fires. Purifying Fire is one of the spells that works with this ruler. If your ruler is Nameless Girl, which ours is, you get to choose 2. It deals 700 damage to a player or 1,000 damage to a human. So keep in mind, if their creature is not a human, you have Mooge Dart out, you can make their creature human, and then it will be susceptible to Purifying Fire. So everything works together. Don't think just because it says to a human, oh no, if they have a Carmilla out, I can't target it. Yes, you can. Also, we're playing 2 Rapid Decays, and this is more for like your aggro decks that are playing a lot of little small guys. Definitely a card that would be sideboarded out if you're playing against like an Abdul control deck. If you're playing against Grimm the Fairy Tale Prince, then you would side these in because it's very good against him. Just another thing to keep your opponent's board under your control. I already went over the 4 Absolute Cake Zones. Those are pretty straightforward. I just love Force of Will, by the way, because they put all their control magic in green, and most card games up to this point have been putting them in blue. So I think it's really cool to give green that extra little added spice that we're not used to seeing in trading card games. Okay, and then our last spell that we're playing is Inquisition, obviously. For those of you who aren't familiar with this card, it's very, very powerful for the Nameless Girl deck. It's another spell that works specifically with that ruler. It says, rest 2 recovered resonators you control. If your rule is Nameless Girl, rest 1 recovered resonator you control instead. So basically, you rest a recovered resonator, and you destroy target resonator. Your opponent then gets to copy the spell, but if they don't have, if they're not playing Nameless Girl, they have to have 2 untapped. Is it untapped? Yes, they have to have 2 recovered resonators in order to copy the spell. And since you just killed one of theirs, chances are they don't have it. So it's basically a 1 blue mana, kill a guy. 1 blue and rest your creature. So that's really, really good. Alright, so that is the core of the deck. And we're going to go on to the stone deck and the ruler. Stone deck is pretty much your basic Gretel stone deck build. We've got the 1 Mooge Dart that I told you about. And then we're also playing 4 Magic Stone of Deepwood, so that's where you get your blue source. And then 4 Magic Stone of Blasting Waves for your red source. All of those are wind magic stones, so all of them flip with Gretel. And then we're just playing 1 final wind stone, also to trigger off of Gretel. Lots of green also because we're playing a couple double green spells. Sinbad and Gardea and Athos all take double green, so having those extra green is helpful. I don't think, yeah, and then Crucifix. We don't have any double red or any double blue, so saturating the stone deck with green is beneficial outside of just Gretel. That's what the deck needs to run. And then finally, our ruler. is Nameless Girl. On her flip side, it is, I guess you say Jane of Arc or Joan of Arc, the Flame of Hatred. When she comes into play, it destroys all other humans. Now, in our deck, the only humans we're playing are Gretel and Sinbad, I think, right? Yeah, Gretel and Sinbad. So you have there is an opportunity that you're going to lose some of your creatures as well, but since we're not saturated with humans, you're not going to lose your entire board. You do have to have a couple humans if you want to abuse her free flip ability. And then you can use Mooge Dart to turn one of their guys into a human if it's not a human already, and then when she flips, it will destroy that human. And then most importantly is, well, she has another ability here. You can rest her, prevent all damage from target human resonator until end of turn. Same thing, if they have like a giant blazer out, you can use Mooge Dart to turn their blazer into a human and prevent it with your ruler. And her last ability is pay a red and a colorless. This card deals 500 damage to target human. And we go back to Mooge Dart again. Tap this, turn one of their creatures into a human, and then you can deal 500 damage to it. There are a lot of opportunities to deal damage directly to a resonator. You've got your ruler. Sinbad does 300 damage. Windagger does 300 damage. And then you also have Purifying Fire that does 700 damage. So, and then Thunder also that does 500 damage. So there's lots of opportunities to really stack damage on a really, really big creature. The deck is naturally well suited against small creatures, but it has plenty of opportunities to interact with Blazer and Gilderay and all those big scary things. I would worry a little bit about playing against rulers like Abdul because he can make your Sinbad lose all of his abilities, and then all those synergies kind of, they don't fall apart, but they're not as well working together if he loses his abilities for a turn. So you have cards like Thunder. You can use Double Thunder to get rid of Abdul if you need to. But there's lots of options there for dealing with him. I really like this deck. I just think all of the cards work really, really well together. Even if you have, and you can use any combination of them too. You don't have to have Sinbad, Gretel, Witch's Dagger, which is, in my opinion, the best combination, but you don't have to have those three. You can have Gardea, Sinbad, Windagger, or like Crucifix, Gardea, Athos, like lots of different combinations, and they all work really, really well together. So I hope you enjoyed this deck tag. Like I said, we didn't spend a whole ton of time on it. We just kind of adapted what someone else was already playing. Mostly wanted to get this up because of the special requests. So thank you, Felix, for your submission into Void and Moon. And if anyone else has a deck that you'd like to see, feel free to message me on Facebook or leave a comment here. And hopefully you'll see the deck that you want to see next week on Void and Moon. Thank you.